Yeah.
But I want to be measured in my judgments. I don't want to rush the hour.
Yes. Rush Hour.
Yeah. So sometimes I watch a movie and I have lots and lots to say about it.
Yeah.
I think Rush Hour intentionally is kind of not review proof, but review resistant. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, it's a quintessential '90s buddy cop action movie
Yeah.
that just solidly delivers on its presence, which relies on the charms of its two lead actors, Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree wholeheartedly with that. Yeah. And this was, of course, this came out right around the time when Jackie Chan's popularity was starting to go up. A lot of his Hong Kong movies were starting to come over here in the West. And he had a couple of movies that came out in the theaters here before this movie, like Rumble in the Bronx and Mr. Nice Guy. I actually saw Mr. Nice Guy in the theater. My brother dragged me to that one because when he got into college, he had a whole world of movies opened up to him, and one of those worlds was Jackie Chan. And so then when this movie came out, I was I was really interested when I remember seeing the trailers and everything. Of course, then I see Chris Tucker, and I'm like, wait, that's the guy from The Fifth Element.
Was that what he was mostly known for before this?
I don't know if it was that or he was in Friday with Ice Cube.
Okay. Well,
Um,
I'm not really familiar with that one, but that's okay.
yeah, yeah. I think he was in a. There may have been another movie he was in. I'm not thinking of, but yeah, but his star really blew up with this movie, and so much so that he didn't make any other movies except for the Rush Hour movies.
But is he out of the business now? Hmm.
I think he kind of is. Yeah.
Let's take a look at IMDb. Um, okay. Okay, yeah. So IMDb has a gap from 2007 Rush Hour 3 to Silver Linings Playbook in 2012.
Yeah.
And he seems to be doing a movie on average once every 3 to 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
The last one he was in as he played a role in Air, the Air Jordan movie that came out a couple years back.
Oh, I think I remember that. Yeah. Well, he was getting paid very well for these movies.
As you would hope, because since Jackie Chan's command of English isn't the best, he's kind of Chris is kind of the point of view character.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently, that when they first met, make the movie, they had a hard time talking to each other because like you said, Jackie Chan's English wasn't great, and of course Chris Tucker had that really high
Right.
voice and talking really fast, and so
Yep.
Jackie Chan's like, what are you saying? I don't know what are you talking about.
So you're saying there wasn't a lot of method acting here. They were just being confused on their own.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, this one I had seen before, though it had been a while.
Yeah.
A few years back for Christmas, I got my uncle, and this was back when Best Buy sold physical media, the dirty jerks getting out of that industry.
Yeah.
Um, they had this 3-movie collection of it in this really awesome Blu-ray set with like this hand-drawn cover and interior. And I know that my uncle didn't necessarily appreciate it the most because I just kind of said, well, I know he likes action movies, so this is something he could watch with his wife. So, but I'm just thinking to myself, dang it, I should have bought that for me. I would have loved to have that on hand.
Yeah. Now that you
Because
mentioned it, I think I actually think I have that. Now that I think about it. Yeah. Yeah, because it sounds familiar. But yeah, you were saying.
Yep. But yeah, these are just very satisfying movies. Like
Yeah.
you're like they don't teach you anything about the human experience. They don't have any sort of philosophical question. I mean, after all, these are Brett Ratner movies, so
Yeah. Yes, Brett Ratner. He's been Me Too'd out of the business.
Yeah. After what's really funny about this, he is like he's like the RC Cola uh, to Michael Bay.
Yeah,
Michael Bay's Coca Cola, because it's just like because like he does a lot of the same things, but like where Michael Bay, you get the impression that like Michael Bay is an artist. Like
yeah.
he makes dumb movies, but just from like a special effects and directing perspective, he is going for things.
Yeah, yeah.
This one plays it fairly safe.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. But yeah, so
I guess we should get into the actual plot now. Yeah.
yeah, get to the plot of the movie. Yeah. So plot of the movie, it centers around the the Chinese consulate, Chinese consul who in at the beginning of the movie, I think he was like a Hong Kong police chief, and he and Jackie Chan are they're able to foil their longtime enemy, guy named Juntao, and they recover a bunch of old Chinese antiquities, and
Hmm.
then of course this is on the night that the UK is handing over Hong Kong to China,
Hmm.
and then we fast forward 2 months later, and that's where we meet uh, Detective James Carter, played by Chris Tucker, as he's doing his best kind of Axel Foley esque bust,
Yeah.
pretending to buy a bunch of explosives, and then it just kind of goes horribly wrong, and a couple of cops get shot, and uh,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but
And
then
it,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And then the daughter of the commissioner ends up getting kidnapped. So he sends his good buddy Jackie Chan over to the US to coordinate with the Americans to help bring her back.
Yes, except the FBI agents don't want him there, so they recruit James Carter from the LAPD to basically babysit. Lee was Jackie Chan's, yeah, to babysit Lee, to just keep him away. Even and what follows is basically just Jackie Chan trying to get away from Chris Tucker, and to try to get to the consulate, and then the two of them basically working together to try to uh, rescue the girl, and
Yeah.
bring down the bad guy.
And of course, while all the while, Chris Tucker, despite being told repeatedly, "You are not on this case," deciding he's going to solve this case.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's kind of a simple plot, but simple plots are not bad.
yeah, yeah,
Um, it's fine. I find it very funny to realize that that Jackie Chan's amazing fighting skills are the rough narrative equivalent of Chris Tucker's fast talking jive. But
yeah,
there you go.
yeah, yeah, and of course, and from that perspective, with Jackie Chan, of course, one of his movies, it's all about the fight scenes. It's all about the
Mhm.
his stunts and everything. And the fight scenes are good. And there are a few stunts in there that are of course, Jackie Chan at that time, he was doing his own stunts, and
Yeah, there were some near misses there.
yeah, there were, yeah, like him almost getting crushed by a shipping container.
Yep.
Of course, the big scene of the climax with the giant ribbon, trying to have him
Yep.
fall on that, which
Yeah. I hope there were some wires involved.
yeah, I hope so too. Of course, that's that one kind of rivals the one from Police Story, where he slides down the pole with a bunch of lights on it, and it's just
Mm.
and all the lights are breaking down. And I think he broke his hip on that one.
Oof.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, and it's it delivers with the movie delivers all of Jackie Chan's famous his fights and stunts, and then of course the humor with Chris Tucker being being Chris Tucker.
Yeah, you either like Chris Tucker or you start hearing him talk and you immediately turn it off.
Yeah,
because obviously we've never met the man, but I'm just trying to imagine you're like a barista at Starbucks and he comes in talking like he does in any of his movies to order a mocha.
Yeah.
Hey man, how's it going? Yeah, give me one of the mochas, venti size. Sure, why not? It's my cheat day.
Yeah. Hazelnut.
Yeah, just like says 300 words in a minute.
Yeah.
It's sort of a high pitch.
Yeah.
So like I mostly find him charming, but it did occur to me, man, I can see why people in the LAPD wanted to shunt him off onto this do nothing assignment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you imagine doing something in person, like some things are more fun when you're watching it from a distance rather than having to deal with it in person.
Yeah. You're like the one detective, the bomb squad lady, where she's just like, oh god.
Yes.
Having to deal with him constantly hitting on her.
That too, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Like I said, this movie is fairly resistant to criticism because it achieves what it's out to achieve. Probably the best scenes were, it does have a nice little character arc where the two of them become friends over the course of things.
Yeah.
Probably the funniest scene that stuck out to me was Chris goes in and he uses certain slang that to talk with somebody that that you're really only allowed to do if you're black. And then Jackie Chan just doing as the Romans do says, "Hey, what's up, my?" Proceeds to start a fight.
Yeah. And of course, he utters one of his favorite famous lines: "I don't want any trouble."
Yep. Yeah, so this is a lot of fun. It's currently streaming on Netflix.
Yeah,
you can get it other places too. You just have to rent it. You can see why they not only made 2 of these, but basically repeated the same formula with Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson with the Shanghai Nights franchise. So that only made it to 2 movies, I believe.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, and what's funny there was that there's a scene where they're at Grauman's Chinese theater, and and Chris Tucker points out, "Is he John Wayne? John Wayne's handprints and feet in the cement. See, John. Oh yeah, John Wayne." And then Shanghai Noon and Shanghai Nights, Jackie Chan's character is Chon Wang.
Oh yeah,
it sounds like John Wayne.
Yeah. Maybe we should work Shanghai Noon into it at some point. That's right. Yeah. Shanghai Noon was the first one. Shanghai Nights was the sequel I never saw, where they were in England.
I actually like that one better.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have to give that a shot sometime.
Yeah. But I definitely highly recommend this movie. Yeah.
Oh, one more thing to quote Jackie Chan's uncle from the Jackie Chan animated series.
Oh yeah.
So when we ended up watching Beverly Hills Cop, I wasn't the biggest fan of Axel Foley, and I was trying to analyze, okay, why does Chris Tucker's character work for me, but Axel Foley didn't really?
Yeah,
and I think it's because they did a good job of they gave him a setup that explained why he was having to act shady and under the table, because he wasn't really supposed to be investigating it, but he wanted that collar.
Yeah.
It's like when you cut off his support, it's like, okay, now it makes sense why you're lying to everybody and sneaking around.
Yeah.
Where Axel Foley just kind of showed up in town was immediately going into that mode.
Yeah.
And it's like I just felt like the explanation. I felt like the setup was better.
Yeah.
Also, Chris Tucker at that point of his career, better actor than straight into SNL. Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Right. I've watched we've reviewed multiples of his early career now, and It took many years for the man to learn how to emote with his eyebrows, which is
Yeah.
kind of makes it sound like he's not being very sincere a lot of the time, or look like he's not being sincere a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But he eventually got it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So I that's just a little personal aside, but
Mm.
yeah, I agree. If you just want something fun to watch, and maybe you watched the Iron Claw and you feel like life isn't worth living anymore,
Yeah.
give this a go. It'll make some dopamine happen.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Well, I think we've said all we've needed to say for tonight.
Indeed, we have.